Oh, wow. Welcome back to the show. Why? Why is Canada not rich? Why are we even paying income taxes? The amount of resources that we have under our feet is astronomical. I would call it the richest country on planet Earth. Unfortunately, we have the worst managers on planet Earth. We shouldn't even be paying taxes with the amount of money that's below our feet. Think about it. Our national deficit is like $1.5 trillion. It is estimated that we could potentially have $20 to $30 trillion under our feet. That number is so huge, we would never have to work a day of our lives. We automate everything, pull everything out of the ground and sell it to the world. With green tech too, we could be the greenest country on planet Earth. But nope, we have red tape keeping everything in the ground and telling everybody in Canada that the reason that we are in decline is all because of Orange Man Bad. You can't make any of this stuff up, Canada. Just to list a few, we have abundant energy, resources, the most running fresh water on planet Earth, and the second largest landmass. So why in the world did 76,000 people pass away on a healthcare wait list since 2018? As Mark Carney describes, we are rupturing in Canada. Everything is rupturing, from crime, housing, healthcare, jobs, economy. Everything is rupturing. It makes zero sense, but make no mistake, we could have it all, but we have created this mess that we're in. In today's report, Pierre Poilievre torches Mark Carney's first 6-month record. It's bad. The left social media accounts are unhinged right now because they're noticing public opinion for their party is straight up in free fall. Let's get into this report. Look at this squirrel. Isn't he nice? I love nature. If we continue down the road with this reckless liberal government, we are gonna be this squirrel eating moss on the side of trees. Pierre Poilievre absolutely torches, Hulk smashes Mark Carney's 6-month record. Let's go.
Mark Carney's housing minister, Gregor Robertson, the guy who increased housing costs in Vancouver by 149% and more than doubled home building taxes. And his punishment for that terrible job he did as Vancouver mayor is that Mark Carney made him his housing minister.
Isn't it interesting that these liberals always fail upwards? It's like the worse that you fail, you get promoted.
Decade of liberal taxes, liberal spending, out of control liberal immigration, reckless crime policies. The Canadian promise is really broken. We see an entire generation priced out of home ownership. We see rampaging crime in our streets. We see overcrowded communities as a result of immigration adding people 3 times faster than we add homes and jobs. We see job losses. We see the worst economy in the G7.
All right, let's start doing some fact checking because I love fact checking. The crime rates in this country have exploded across the country, so much so that the mayor of Barrie has officially come out with a state of emergency because of crime and homelessness across the city. This is a wake-up call, Canada. Check this out.
Judges are superseding everyday bylaws. The cities have enacted to create and maintain order. The Barrie Police Department operates as an arm's-length police service overseeing law enforcement, or the lack thereof, being told by the justice system that it's a waste of time to enforce drug possession or drug use laws. This because often those same judges just mentioned throw the cases out and warn the prosecutors to steer away from such charges. While I support the county's plan to deliver new space and the Heart Hub, we have all simply run out of time. The City of Barrie does not have control over this emergency until now. Today I'm announcing that I've declared a state of emergency in the City of Barrie, as I requested the former administration to do. While we wait for the county's long-term plan to be implemented, the City of Barrie is immediately instituting the state of emergency to reclaim our streets, our boulevards, our parks, our squares, our feeling of safety, and our order. While this order will not appoint federal judges that protect the rights of citizenry to live in a free and lawful society, it will address the problem from the ground up. Barrie City Council has already done so much. In 2023, we provide an additional $1.65 million, increasing our funding to local social service agencies. Also in 2023, we ended the prisoner drop-off program in downtown Barrie that left individuals in our downtown from around the province of Ontario when they left incarceration at Penetang. In 2025, with the help of our police resources, and I see our Deputy Chief here today, Deputy, we funded an additional 17 officers to enforce the law right here in our downtown center. Also, just a couple of weeks ago, we created an additional 55 affordable and supportive housing units, with many more to be approved in the coming month.
You wouldn't have a state of an emergency unless it was a complete rupture of our criminal justice system. We're seeing this across Canada. How many cities are going to have a state of emergency due to crime and homelessness? All brought to you by our beautiful and wonderful Liberal government. Let's go back to Pierre Poilievre.
That's the promise of Canada broken after a decade of Liberals. Now, Mark Carney promised to be different. Instead, he's worse than Justin Trudeau. He said he would spend less, but his first estimates bill has the government spending 8% more, with the lion's share going to high-priced consultants and bureaucracy. He said that he would have more invest more, he said. Yet since he became Prime Minister, $62 billion of net investment has left Canada, almost all of it going to the United States of America, in what the National Bank described as the biggest net outflow of investment in any 5-month period in history. He said he would be elbows up, that he was going to handle Donald Trump and negotiate a win by July the 21st. Ever since, he's been elbows down. He has secured no deal, and he has made concession after concession while getting absolutely nothing in return. He said he would build, baby, build. That was a quote. Well, build what? Let's start with national projects. He said he would build at unimaginable speeds. Yet not only is there 0 national projects under construction today, 6 months after he took office, in fact, he has not granted a single permit for a major project to go ahead. He hasn't even published a list of projects he might one day consider expediting for approval. Meanwhile, there are 39 projects that are sitting in the bureaucracy waiting for approval, that for which Mark Carney only needs to get out of the way. And yet nothing is getting built, nothing is getting done, and our economy is collapsing. He said that he would create jobs. Yet since he took office, there are 86,000 fewer people working today than there were when he started off. In fact, unemployment is now the second highest in the G7. And speaking of the G7, he has promised to give the fastest growth in the G7, when in reality he has given an economy that is shrinking fastest in the G7. Again, he promised we'd be growing the fastest in the G7. In reality, we are shrinking the fastest. The single worst economy in the G7 today, after 6 months of Mark Carney's promises.
Pierre Poilievre's bang on. Can you list me one thing? Just give me one thing that Mark Carney has done since he showed up. That's positive. We know all the negatives. It's nonstop negative on a daily basis. But can you actually name one thing? And if you tell me it's the middle class tax cut that provides Canadians 76 cents per day when inflation is running rampant, meaning you're going to get nothing because inflation is going to increase your grocery prices by $800+ this year alone. meaning you're going to owe more than his middle-class tax cut. And now we find out he's going to be imposing the carbon tax 2.0, which is going to increase the cost of fuel, meaning that the removal of their wonderful carbon pricing for consumer-based has been basically eliminated. But now Canadians don't even get their carbon credit rebates. Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse in Canada. A reporter asked Pierre Poilievre a question that Mark Carney is appearing to be straight up conservative. We know it's Radio-Canada, CBC. You know, they just ask those questions just to kind of manipulate and brainwash people. I'm showing you the French version of the question and French response because Pierre Poilievre's response in French was straight up fire, way better than in English. Then he says it in English. Let's go.
Bonjour, Monsieur Poilievre, Myrna Djukic, Radio-Canada.
Bonjour.
Vous avez souvent accusé Monsieur Carney de copier vos idées. Vous venez même de l'encourager à copier vos meilleures idées. Est-ce que vous considérez que ce chef libéral est un chef conservateur?
So she just asks, you often say that Mark Carney is stealing all of your ideas. Do you think that Mark Carney is in fact a conservative? Let's go, Pierre.
Non, pas du tout. Il est encore plus libéral que Justin Trudeau. Oublions ces mots. Oublions les mots de M. Carney. Le problème, si je peux être très franc, les médias continuent de juger M. Carney selon ses mots au lieu de ses gestes. Parlons de dépenses. Il a hérité un gouvernement morbidement obèse de Justin Trudeau. Qu'est-ce qu'il a fait? Il a augmenté le coût du gouvernement de 8 6 plus pour les fonctionnaires, pour les bureaucrates, 37 plus pour les consultants. Un déficit qui pourrait être 2 fois plus important avec M. Carney que celui de Justin Trudeau. Il a gonflé les coûts, il a retardé la construction en ajoutant davantage de bureaucratie et il est en train d'aller à travers le Canada jeter l'argent dans toutes les directions. Ça, c'est pas conservateur. Ça, c'est une continuation de dépenses hors de contrôle qu'on a vu avec Justin Trudeau. Seule chose, c'est que M. Carney est encore pire que Justin Trudeau si on le juge par des résultats et non par la rhétorique.
Yeah, oh man, just so that people know out there that don't speak French, his wording, the words that he selected were like by far incredible compared to English. French is a unique language where you have the choice of choosing some special words that really emphasize the emotion. English is a boring language. That's why I quite enjoy French. If I get in an argument with somebody, it's always going to go straight to French. I love how he said trash. He's thrown money straight into the trash. But here's his English response.
No, Mr. Carney is actually more irresponsible than even Justin Trudeau was. He inherited a morbidly obese government from Trudeau, and he's increased its cost by 8%, with 37% more for consultants, 6% more for bureaucracy, and it looks like Mark Carney's deficit will be even bigger than the one that Justin Trudeau left behind. He has 86,000 more unemployed people than Justin Trudeau had. He has not approved a single major national project. He's kept in place all of the Liberal soft-on-crime catch-and-release policies. Food price inflation is worse today under Mark Carney than it was under Justin Trudeau. So I think the mistake the media is making is they're judging him by his words rather than by his deeds. Oh yeah, he's made lots of promises. But Mark Carney has broken every single major promise that he has made. If you want a conservative government that will bring down costs, get shovels in grounds, put criminals in jail, hit the brakes on immigration, and put our country first, you need to vote for a real conservative government.
Wow, that's the response I want to hear because it's the truth. If you want conservative policies, you need to vote conservative. Ezra Levant from Rebel News asks a great question, and I absolutely love Pierre Poilievre's response.
Ezra Levant from Rebel News. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Back in May, Gregor Robertson, Mark Carney's housing minister, was asked if he wanted the price of housing to come down. And he said no. How do you balance reducing the cost of housing for young families, but also protecting what may be the only nest egg for some seniors and boomers? Where do you draw the balance? How would you like to see pricing actually look for the average home in Toronto or Vancouver?
So, first of all, I just think we need to acknowledge that it is incredible that Mark Carney would pick Gregor Robertson as his housing minister after that, when he was the mayor, Vancouver's housing costs went up by 150%, driven almost entirely by municipal taxes. So the guy who created the worst housing market in North America, forget Canada, by far the most expensive housing market in North America, more expensive than New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago. Carney says that's exactly who we need in charge of housing. Like, talk about failing up. So the first thing that would be different is I would have never named someone like Gregor Robertson. He is the exact epitome of everything wrong with housing in Canada today. As for your question about balancing keeping home prices up versus them coming down, look, the money from a home today does not go to the buyer, the seller, or the builder. It goes to the government. We have to, you know, it's like today, right now, the housing costs are too low for builders to build and too high for buyers to buy. And you would say, well, how could it be both of those things? Well, because the lion's share is going to the government. It doesn't go to these guys. The guys who swing the hammers back here, they're not getting the money. The money is going to government bureaucrats, municipally, provincially, and federally. And what I'm saying is, let's cut the government cost out of housing. Get rid of the sales tax, cut the development charges in half, speed up the permits, zero tax on reinvested gains. If you get the government cost out of building homes, then the buyer, the seller, and the builder will all be winners at the same time.
Yeah, here we go. Everybody wins except for the government. Yeah, with the Liberals, it's only the Liberals that win, and us plebs, we lose every single time. Get ready for this one. A reporter asks, why are we sending $22 billion to Ukraine when we have an everything crisis in Canada? And we all know it's rupture. Everything in this country is rupturing at the same moment. Why are we sending money overseas? Pierre Poilievre's response is straight 10 out of 10 fire.
From all the crises, from immigration crisis to the housing crisis to the crime crisis and to the job loss crisis, all the crises are there. So my question is, we, the Canada, we gave billions of dollars, 22 billion plus $25 billion to Ukraine. How justified is that when our own people are struggling high time, big time, because since last couple of years, you are also highlighting the crisis and crisis and crisis. So how to fix? Canada first, we have not seen the Canada first approach by any of the political party. Canada first, we have seen that other countries are coming first. Taxpayers' money are going out of country. How justified is that? Thank you.
Well, the best way to put Canada first while helping Ukraine is to sell our oil and gas in Europe. The reason Putin can fund his war is because he has a near monopoly on Western European oil and gas purchases. If we had the Energy East pipeline, we could be selling 1 million barrels of Canadian oil to Europe every single day. If we immediately approved LNG plants, we could liquefy tens of billions of dollars of natural gas and send it to Europe to fully displace the Russian sales of gas into that continent and put it into Canadian paychecks. So Mark Carney and the Liberals have blocked every single LNG project that has been put before them. And as a result, we only have one plant. It's on the West Coast, approved by Stephen Harper. If you want to defund Putin and squeeze out all the money that he's using to fund the war, then let's immediately start approving pipelines, LNG plants, export terminals, and send tens of billions of dollars of clean, ethical Canadian natural gas and oil to Europe. Instead of the money going to Putin's war machine, it will go to the trades workers in this country. That is how you put Canada first.
Yeah, put Canada first for a change. We need to start putting Canada first. And his response is the most logical response anyone could have given. We need to go after their money, and we need to sell our clean natural resources, our clean energy, because we do it better than anybody else, to Europe so that they don't have to buy their energy from Putin. This is the most common sense approach and answer you could give. Why are we not doing it? It's because we have the Liberals. And the Liberals believe that every single ounce of our energy needs to stay in the ground unless it is 100% net zero. And obviously, we have the most conflicted prime minister in Canadian history that's lining up the ducks, making sure that all those projects go towards one of his 103 conflicts of interest. It is actually unbelievable. And Canadians are sitting here looking at this going, how could we have let this happen? It's because in Canada, we have people like Laura Babcock. Check out this retweet that she did. One man is 60 years old, raring, ready to go. One man's 46 and spent. The left are posting this picture because Mark Carney did a marathon, half marathon over the weekend, and they're cheering for joy. So she says, you gotta admit, Carney is impressive. Instead of the left and all the Liberal supporters posting all of the achievements that the Liberals have done in the last 6 months, which there are zero. There is zero achievements from the Liberals. So they have to, in order to look great, they have to post that he's done a half marathon at 60 years old. That is the one thing that they're celebrating about on the left. They have completely lost their mind. How is Mark Carney running a half marathon have anything to do with the success of this country? Are taxes down? Is crime down? Do we have a trade deal with the United States? What is better in Canada because he was able to run a 26-kilometer race? Oh, and we're going to get into the 26-kilometer race. Just to mess with the left because they are like, yay, Mark Carney, you're my hero. You did 26 kilometers in running. I mean, he probably did this race. Maybe he didn't, and it was just a photo op. But there are some question marks, that's for sure. But even if he did, I was like, I want to mess with these lefties because this is the only thing that they have to cheer about. I knew if I did a post because they were all cheering for him, it would definitely trigger them. So I said, mainstream media claims that Mark Carney ran 26 kilometers, half marathon, finished in 3 hours and 45 minutes, and beat 50% of the competitors. In this photo, he got 0 race number. What are the odds this actually happened? And I knew it would just bug these Liberals. That's why I did it. Check this out. I mean, if you look at the picture, you could tell Mark Carney does not have a racing number. And if they have their racing numbers in the front, must be a rule that you need to have a number on the front. Front, nothing. You see? And I knew this would trigger the Liberals. Check out how many people viewed my post. 250,000 people saw this because they're like, oh yeah. And it was retweeted and the left went nuts on it saying, look at Mark Nixon. We're going to look at some of those tweets, but check out, there's like 1,200 comments and almost 1,000 retweets. Oh yeah, this was a good one. Look at one of these lefties, Gator Gums. Oh, Gator Gums. This is desperate for content, eh? And then I wrote, you mean mainstream media promoting their leader and their boss? I like JP's response. His number was 000. Darcy Media says he wouldn't walk or run anywhere without RCMP very close and visible. I haven't seen any in the pictures or videos with his RCMP detail. And there are some people that are saying that this picture was AI generated. And Savage says, I'll take S, that never happened for 500, Alex. So they posted his results, and it is the 3 hours and 45 minutes for 26 kilometers, Mark Carney. But like I said, I created this just to bug the left because they're congratulating him for something that he did on his day off. What about what he did while he was actually working? And Gator Gums posted on her channel my post that says, we've reached stage of absurdity where the right-wing media guys need to doubt Carney even race. Wow. See, I told you I'd mess with them. They don't get that it's a joke. Let's check out some of these responses. Well, see, somebody here knows. Murray Lozo knows what I'm doing. Mark is just having a little fun with his irrelevant article, Chill Out Shrill. When the PM is doing nothing important, this is what the liberals post. And look, I wrote, correct. We got Wyatt Claypool that responded to her post. Well, Carney isn't doing anything else, so why not fact check this? And Darren says, he didn't even break a sweat. I have to agree. I'm looking at him like, wouldn't you be drenched if you're running for that long? You know, they get so triggered. Check out this post. There's multiple posts. Carney right-wing Twitter, so beyond triggered, it's hilarious. We're not triggered at all. It's the left that got triggered by my post. Or I haven't seen the liberals be this upset since yesterday. Look how triggered they got. Here's another one. Jay Krug says, live from the right-wing Twitter, Pierre Poilievre with all of these phones. That's it for today's report. The reason I wanted to show you the marathon thing is the political left have completely lost their mind. They have 0 wins. They have nothing to actually celebrate about. So they see their dear leader run a half marathon and they have to publish it all across the internet saying that Mark Carney would kick Pierre Poilievre's butt in a marathon. Look at him. He's so healthy. He's so great. He's going to lead this country. Well, after 6 months, everything is rupturing. Everything is broken. We need to get back on track. And the only thing that's holding our country back is our liberal government that's in the way. If they actually moved out of the way and removed all of the restrictions and red tape and allowed us to prosper, that's all we need. And we could actually be the fastest growing country in the world and have, like I said, be the richest. We would have less taxes, abundance of everything. But instead, we have the liberals. Hopefully we wake up quick because winter is coming. And if we don't change direction, this eruption is going to be 10 times bigger. I'll see you on the next report.